देखिए, एक बात तो ये है कि सोशल मीडिया की क्रेडिबिलिटी अब काफी धीरे धीरे करके इरोड हो रही है। आज से 3 साल पहले जो सोशल मीडिया में आता था और जितना उसका प्रभाव होता था समाज में, आज उसका प्रभाव थोड़ा कम हो रहा है। तो हमारे को थोड़ा जितनी, अगर आपके पास टाइम हो और ये आपके पास ऐसे कुछ लोग हों जो वॉलंटियर ऐसे कर सकते हैं, सोशल मीडिया के अंदर कुछ इस तरह की स्टोरीज को देखें जिसके अंदर टोटल ब्लैटेंट लाइज जो है उनको आप उजागर कर सके विद ए वेरी ऑथेंटिक थिंग। आप उसका जवाब दें, आपके पास कोई फोटोग्राफ हो, आपके पास में कोई इस तरह, जैसे इंडियन आर्मी के बारे में कई चीजें जो आती हैं वो बिल्कुल ये है कि जिससे हमारी कंट्री की डिफेंस फोर्सेस का मोरल डाउन हो जाए। कभी कभी वो इस तरह की चीजें अपनी यूनिट्स के बारे में या हमारे अफसरों के बारे में लिखते हैं जिससे कि जवानों का फेथ या कॉन्फिडेंस अपनी लीडरशिप पर शेक हो जाए। तो आप लोग जैसे एक्ट है इसको स्ट्रांगली रजिस्टर करें। इसी तरह से सरकार के अंदर में कई चीजों के बारे में ऐसा कहा जाता है जो कि बातें बिल्कुल गलत है। तो अगर डिफेंस फोर्सेस के लोग, रिटायर्ड लोग इस तरह से वो करें तो एक वो कर सकते हैं। एक बात यह है कि अगर रिसर्च हो सके और काम करने का टाइम हो, किसी पर्टिकुलर टॉपिक जिसमें आपका इंटरेस्ट भी हो, ये हो, उसमें कुछ करके सोशल मीडिया में कुछ समय समय पर फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स बने जब कोई घटना घटती है। क्योंकि सोशल मीडिया के अंदर में ये देखा गया है कि मान लीजिए जाए कोई घटना घटी, उसके अंदर में जो ट्रैश आना शुरू होता है वो पहले 4 घंटे 6 घंटे के अंदर में नैरेटिव को डोमिनेट कर देता है। उसके बाद में जो आते हैं उसके ऊपर में इतना अधिक ध्यान लोगों का नहीं जाता। इफ यू कुड बी द फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डेंट्स ऑफ समथिंग दैट इट इज दिस थिंग। अब ये भी होता है कि भाई अगर आपको कोई चीज रिपोर्ट नहीं करनी है तो आप फर्स्ट रिस्पॉन्डेंट कैसे हो सकते हैं, पर ये हो सकता है। आप इसको किसी चीज को अगर आप सोचते हैं कि जैसे कोई घटना घट जाती है जिसमें ये आया कि फर्ज करिए कश्मीर के अंदर में किसी गांव के अंदर में कोई ऐसी घटना घटी जिसमें सोल्जर्स ने कोई ऐसा काम किया जो कि लोगों ने वो मतलब एक चीज अखबार में, तो फिर आप अपना सही पर्सपेक्टिव अपना थोड़ा पूछ के अपना थोड़ा सही करके अगर पहले 500-700 आइटम्स जो है उसके अंदर में एक सही पर्सपेक्टिव में एक सही चीजों को अच्छी रूप में बताया जा सके, उसके बाद में जब 3 घंटे के बाद 4 घंटे के बाद में जब बाकी नैरेटिव शुरू होता है तब तक स्टेबल हो जाता है। और हमारे यहाँ जो ज्यादा रीजनेबल वो आते हैं वो करीबन 12 घंटे 16 घंटे 18 घंटे के बाद है, उसको कोई नहीं पढ़ता। इट इज वेरी लेट। ये है थोड़ा सा। बाकी मेरे ख्याल से देश के अंदर भी पैट्रियट्स की कमी भी नहीं है। बहुत सारे लोग हैं, नेशनलिस्ट हैं, लिखते भी हैं, ये भी करते हैं, लेकिन उनके पास कुछ टाइम कम होता है, थोड़ा टाइम निकालना पड़ता है, थोड़ा सा एफर्ट करना पड़ता है। सोशल मीडिया को तो सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू ही काउंटर करना पड़ेगा। एक बात ये होती कभी कभी कि क्या सरकार को कानून बनाने चाहिए सोशल मीडिया को। अब कुछ तो है जहां पर किसी की लाइफ को थ्रेट है या कुछ है, लेकिन अगर हम सोशल मीडिया के थ्रू लोगों की आवाज को ये करें उसका नेगेटिव इफेक्ट ज्यादा होगा। शायद इसका धीरे धीरे प्रभाव जो है सोशल मीडिया इतना प्रभावी नहीं रहेगा।
Pleasure and occasion for me to be here. I have known Jan Bakshi for a very long time. We all know about his writings, about the research and the depth in which he goes. His deep sense of patriotism, which is buttressed not only by the contemporary developments, but also the deep understanding of the history, culture, civilization values, and the environment in which our nationhood got hurt, bruised, this thing, and what are the lessons that we can take from there. So I must firstly thank Jan Bakshi for this great effort. I knew that he had written a lot of books. It's a revelation to me that this is his 45th book. Heartiest congratulations. We do hope he will continue to contribute much more. Shri Pandit ji also is a great an old friend of mine. We had known each other, we have worked with each other for some time. Both these gentlemen have got an advantage over me. That is, they can speak what they have got in their mind. I've got to speak what is correct. And though they know what I feel, and at least they know, these two of them know what my feelings and my understanding are. Now, firstly, let me thank Jalbakshi for the book, and not for the reasons that many of you will say. Why is this book important, and why I consider it to be a very, very great effort? Why do we fight the wars? Is it some vicarious pleasures that we get in killing the adversaries, human resource and the capital? What is it? What do we want to achieve? Whatever our military objectives and political objectives may be, how do we want to achieve it? We achieve it by breaking the will of the nation and defeating its army breaks their will. That is why it is important. When you defeat them on the battleground, the nation is prepared to have peace with you on your terms. So whether it is Ukraine, Russia, the second war, or any war, and at the end of it, it is that you want to do that. But what happens if the people don't have the national will at all? Do you need enemies? One of the major tasks that we neglected and we should have this thing, or to the extent it should have been done, was creating the national will, strengthening it. Way back, about 125 years back, but the one person who rose to do that was Swami Vivekananda. That is, when he say Uttishta Bharata, O India, rise. Idea was this, to create that national will. And I must compliment that in the same tradition, General Bakshi's books, his narratives, his discourses, they may look little outlandish at times and little one can have his own criticism, but the fact remains that the idea behind that is to know who you are. Understand yourself. Realize your potential, realize your past. Your past will give you an idea that you were able to accomplish what you have been denied by the unfortunate course of history. We are the victims of history, but probably we haven't learned many lessons. It's all very great to say, and it is right. It's true. Our past was very glorious. It is also true that we had everything, the intellectualism, the great understanding of war, security, national purposes and others. But probably, in spite of all that, in spite of the economic prosperity of the country, in spite of the huge manpower resource that we had, why is it that we are bruised by the history and the history wrongs? We have got to accept the reality as it is and not as we wish it to be. If we glorify our past, it is important to build our will and our confidence as a nation, but it is not sufficient. We have to first analyze, and I wish that General Bakshi writes some book on that. Where did we fail? We went wrong in our thinking and also in our actions. One of the reasons where we failed was that we considered the strategy, the norms, the rules, the values, the laws that will govern your engagement with the adversary will be on your terms, by your preserved by your thinking. Strategy making or war is never a binary, it's never a singular unitary equation. It is vis-a-vis some objective or an adversary or a chief thing that you want. There is more than one entity. Now I am reminded of the book that Menzer, one of the Greek journalists, had written. Some of his memoirs which I have read, which is in one of the books in the Vivekananda Foundation, which I read there. Later, who came to be known as Millen in the Indian history. He converted to Hinduism and Buddhism and then to Hinduism. He said that, well, when we came here, we found that was a very strange practice. Whereas we could come on our horses and go across the fields, the Indian soldiers will pass through the lanes because according to their law, according to their traditions, according to their values, they could not this thing, खड़ी फसल के अंदर से नहीं जा सकते, पेड़ नहीं काट सकते, सूर्य अस्त होने के बाद किसी को मार नहीं सकते, युद्ध से पहले संघ में जाएंगे जिस तरफ से आ रहे हैं. Now we thought these are our practices. हम ही है क्या लड़ रहे हैं, दूसरा भी. Is it that we have got to make our strategies, we have to build our doctrines, we have to build our equipment, we have to build our preparations and training and everything, keeping in view the overall ecosystem and the environment which are at work. And it is not as we wish it to be. This persistently had been one of our shortcomings. We did not update and upgrade ourselves. When we brought in horses because others were having it, probably it was too late. But then we didn't bring in the sit-ups there. So we were sitting on the horsebacks over the blanket, whereas they could stand under these things and fight with their swords. Or when the gunpowder came, the similar things happened. So we did not adjust to the environment. The slow adaptability of the Indian mind. People who change fast, they are the only one who will be able to leave the adversities behind. We should be very quick. And it should be something that we can do things, we can surprise the people overnight. We do the thing and wait for this thing. That is very important. Seriously, I thought. Another is, all these things require a decision. Whether it's a small decision that a platoon commander makes, or it is a mighty big decision that the prime minister makes. It all is a game in the life, is all decision. And everybody makes decisions with good intentions. According to what he has been trained, according to what his education, his mental caliber, why did, say, in a certain period of time, we are talking about Greeks came and Chanakya did very great this thing, he changed the fighting culture. But if we accept the reality, it is not only the Greeks. After that, the Kushans came, the Shak came, the Parthians came, the Lycians came. It is Mughals, etc., they came much later. Islam came much later. But we were constantly being deceived by this. Kushans came from Uzbekistan, then Tashkent, so this the area bordering Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, and then established what became the Kushan dynasty. And Kanishka was one of the Greeks. There is different thing that they contributed a lot, but the fact is that they were outsiders, they were influenced. And then it got stabilized when the Gupta dynasty came. And then, immediately after the Gupta dynasty, we think, when India was at the height of its prosperity, said the golden Sone ki Chidiya and all these things that used to be said, that is, we started with the invasions that started from the Islamic disease, from Qasim to the others. So that started. That was when it was at the pinnacle of its economic prosperity, and it is true, and it is everybody, even today when this thing that when Kosha was considered to be the extremely important pillar of a state's strength, it crumbled. We made wrong choices. And because we thought what will govern the making the choices will again be governed by what we thought. Our sense of righteousness, our sense of what is dharma, our sense of what is correct. And Janbakshi gave some very eloquent examples of that. We did not consider, it's all important, I am not telling they are not important. But what is most important is, ultimately the choice, exercising your choice is a function of your capability. It is just like this. What can you buy in the market? Depends upon how much money you got in your pocket. You can buy a Mercedes or you can't even afford a motorcycle. We did not build our capabilities proportionate to what our threats were and what we were capable of. We had the manpower, we had the economic strength, we had the geographical expanse, we had, in a way, borders that could be well protected because we had the Himalayas on our north, we had the desert and this thing on our west, and then we had the sea, this thing, etc. We could have built up when most of these people were still very, very underdeveloped at this thing. We should, what we have got to learn is that if you have got to make the right choices, and even if there are people who had the courage and the chivalry to make the right choices, probably the capability at the different stages. You know, even Gandhiji, when he said, and you go very deep and study this, that he will go for ahimsa or non-violent movement. Because he felt that we don't have the capability of exercising the choice of confronting the British. That is what he just thought. Bose thought otherwise. He thought that if you could mobilize the whole country, but the country is mobilized if there is that national will. Where was that? How many people still were even at that time and others? They had sympathy, they had regard, they have got acceptance of what Subhash Bose was doing. But they didn't have the courage to go and stand by him or send their children to say, okay, leave your this thing and go. I'm not talking about the people in the army, I'm talking about the general public. How many people, when you say the demographic war and others, or the demographic thing and others, how do you think that the injustice is done that the particular demographic behaves in a particular way? That is the biggest strength of it. We are civilizationally people who lacked collectivism. When we wanted to achieve the highest spiritual status, we abandoned even our family, our children, our wives, and everything. Went to the Himalayas with the Kamandal or something like that. We never prayed together, like in namaz and others. Collectivity was not one of these things. We acted in our isolation. Our individualism takes over. And nationhood, or a community, or a society, and others are all collective. So in our strategy, if we have to bring that collectivism, that is then, it is only when the society is empowered and has got the choices. So capability building. Capability is more important than intentions. I can change my intentions in half an hour. If you say that, well, I've got the choice that I can attack X and achieve my military or political objective, or I can go for a discussion around the table and for a diplomatic talk, I've got both the options open. Then it is relevant to say, why did you not go for a war when you could? But how could you go for a war when we had no option? So first build those options and then exercise the choices. I don't have much, actually I have got some, unfortunately I have got slightly delayed, but I'm very grateful to you once again, Dharda Prakashan, for bringing out this book. I must congratulate Bakshi. He has contributed a lot. I know what he has done for this country. Nobody else has probably written so much, and I wish that our younger generation finds access and these books are promoted, even if they have to be subsidized, to be done, if there is translations in different languages can be brought about. If you have to build that national will, that Indianness of the people, I think that will solve one of our very, very major strategies. That is, we have to convert a civilization into a nation. And it's an exercise. It takes a lot of heat and it takes a lot of effort. Thank you.